Hello, everyone. I'm Steve Fecto from Talent Development and Learning. And as a follow up to my first presentation on being an engaging speaker and presenter, I've been asked, Steve, what are your top tips for presenting virtually to a virtual audience using a virtual platform like Zoom that I'm actually recording this on for you right now? Well, I've put together my top 10 list of things to think about when you're presenting virtually. Now, there isn't weight to this where 1 is number 1 and 10 is number 10. It's just a nice smooth order, as any good presentation should be, as we go from 1 to 10 as it flows. So here we go. Number 1 is be on camera. I think that's a no-brainer. Make sure you are on camera. Now, one thing to think about while being on camera is to be framed well. I see so many people who are cut off at the face. Their name is blocking their head. They're in a space that really isn't feeling comfortable. Look what I did. I came and actually made my own Zoom wall. You see that? Just for Zoom, so I knew I would look good every single time I come on screen. But as long as you're centered, I put my eye line right at that 1/3 mark. If you split the screen into thirds and get yourself nice and centered, that's a good start. Number 2 is to be well lit. Now, not everyone has the luxury of facing a southern facing window like I am here, but make sure that window isn't behind you where you get all shadowed. Find yourself a nice ring light if you need to light up your space. But if you know you're going to be presenting, find a space where we can actually see you even when your camera is on. So get yourself some nice lighting. Work this stuff out well in advance. Number 3 is make eye contact. Now, Steve, how do you make eye contact to people in a virtual environment? A lot of them off camera. Well, they're watching you, right? I'm making eye contact with you right now by looking straight at that camera lens, not down at my Zoom like this. Now, every once in a while, I might want to look around for some reactions, some facial expressions to what I'm saying like this, but we're not treating it like a live audience where you'd be scanning the room and talking to everybody. You get the luxury of looking every single participant right in the eye, like I'm doing. It makes it feel like I'm giving this presentation just for you. Take advantage of that. And if you need to look down every once in a while, when you're ready to make your main point, come right back to that camera lens and look right at it as you're making those really critical, important notes. Now, if you have slides up, people aren't making that eye contact. They're looking at your slides. So that's why tip 3A is limit your slides. Come back to full screen when you can so you can make that nice eye contact. All right, number 4. Look, folks, you got to believe they're listening out there. One of the hardest parts about presenting virtually is you don't get that audible reaction. You're not hearing laughs at your jokes. You're not hearing, yep, oh, I like that. You're not hearing anything. It can be a complete vacuum of sound, and it's just you talking to this camera like it is for me doing this recording. I don't have your feedback in the moment if you like any of this. You've got to kind of treat it like a radio show, okay? You're hosting this show, and you have to believe there are listeners out there actively engaged and listening, and have that confidence that they're there, even though you're not getting the applause and the laughs and that verbal feedback. When you believe that they're out there and you keep giving it your all, trust that they're listening. Treat it like a radio show. With that in mind, be in the moment. Okay, you might not be getting that audible reaction to your items, but can you take anything from them? Can you get them commenting on something in the chat? Can you ask a question that gives them a chance to speak up? Is there any way you can get their voice into it? Try to be in that moment and give some commentary so it's not a thought of, couldn't this just have been recorded and sent to me virtually and I watched the video? I'm here live. It's a live moment, even though you're all spread out across the world, perhaps. Is there some way I can keep this feeling in the moment? Okay, I'm not perfectly scripted right now. I'm giving myself the luxury of staying in the moment, even though I'm presenting virtually here or in a recording in this case. Okay, we're up to number 6. Now, when you're doing number 5, being in the moment, number 6 is about planning those moments of authenticity, of improvisation. I want to get my audience speaking. I need to plan it out. When will I ask them to comment on in the chat and be strategic about it? When might I throw a poll out for them to comment on? I need something coming in for me to comment on. Plan out when these moments will be in your presentation so you are ready and active and intentional about getting their voice into the presentation. Number 7, we're already up to 7. Get some support to do some of these things. It's hard to manage the clicking around on Zoom while also making eye contact and keeping your presentation going. So get a partner, get someone who can help you, especially if you have a lot of Zoom engagement and you're doing the chat, you're doing the polls, and you're sharing the slides. See if you can have some support. We call it a producer in talent development and learning, who can put up the video with the sound, can share some music, can take feedback from the chat and share it back out. Get some support for that engagement. Number 8, test it out. Don't try this for the first time live in front of a studio audience, okay? Get into a practice room. You can just click open room like I did to create this video. Be all by yourself. Have your producer or partner in there with you. Maybe have a couple people in the audience and test out all of these engagement features you're going to do so you know the video's running clearly. Yes, I can see this PowerPoint when it comes up and it's moving along smoothly. Yes, that chat, that poll is working properly, and that's how it works. Test these things out in advance. Number 9 is to have a plant. Now, I don't mean to decorate your space with a plant. I mean to put a plant in your audience. Someone who you know you can have a conversation with in the middle of your presentation. If you want to keep things with this live feel and you're not getting anything from your audience, I love having a colleague who I know is in that space with me that I could turn to and talk. Like, wow, that's a great idea I got from the chat. You know, I'm going to turn to my colleague who's ready and knows I might do this, and we'll bring them on screen and I'll chat about it for a little bit. I love having someone I can trust to call on to talk with me when I feel it's getting pretty stagnant. It's getting just me, monotonous, straight to the audience, and I want to liven it up a little bit. Get yourself a plant, someone who's ready to come and join you. And finally, number 10 could have been number 1. It might be the most important thing, and that is to treat it the same as you would a live presentation. Don't overthink this virtual space and get overwhelmed by it and make it all about what can I use on Zoom that'll make it more exciting. The engagement isn't going to come from the little things you utilize in here. They're helpful, but engagement comes from you crafting a presentation that's best for your audience, just like I shared in my first video. If not, go back and check that one out. Think about your audience, who they are, what they need, what would be new information that will get them to stretch their minds in a new direction and a new area of understanding. Build in specific details, justify everything, and that is what's going to be engaging. So treat it just like you would a live presentation and just get yourself comfortable to speaking straight to a camera like I'm doing right now instead of a lot of wonderful smiling faces. You're going to be great. Please invite me to your audience. I'd love to sit out there and I'll support you in the chat. I can be your plant. I'd be happy to. All right. So I hope this was helpful. My top 10 tips for presenting virtually. Best of luck to you. I think you're going to be great.